man, it just didn't do anything for me. I was bored the entire time. And I feel like this movie is trying to be, kind of preachy a little bit. Maybe that's why it turned me off. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isaac Joel, and you are listening to The Critics. And today I'm going to be breaking down Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. The marketing for this film was awesome and also not so great at the same time. If you're kind of like into like the indie film festival market, you may have heard of this movie. If you're just an average person, you have no idea what the hell I am talking about right now. You probably never heard of it, probably never even saw a trailer, probably walked by the poster a couple of times and just didn't even register and click in with you. This movie had my attention when I saw the trailer. I thought it was really interesting and fascinating. And just so you guys know right off the bat, I'm a huge Sam Rockwell fan. Some of you guys know that I actually do like that animated Bad Guys 2 movie that came out by DreamWorks. I did really like those movies, and it's credit to him and his voice and how good he is, even when he's not on screen. That dude just has like an incredible voice, and so you don't really get to see too much of him in actual live action films. I feel like he's always playing like a scumbag or just a loser character or a bad guy. He's never really the hero of the story, and so I went into this really with high expectations and a lot of excitement, actually, because he was a central character in the entire film. Just to give you guys a quick little breakdown on what it is, what it's about. This guy is from a post-apocalyptic future. It looks like maybe 30 or so years into the future, I'm going to guess. They don't really specify and say what year he's from. Already rolling my eyes right now. I know, like, there's red flags in this movie. He's this warrior, soldier, whatever you want to call it. And he's come back to the past to try and prevent this AI software from taking over humanity. Right away, I am not big into these AI genre films. It seems to be a new wavelength in the last like 5 or so years where it's machines kind of rising up and taking over. I know that's a story as old as time, obviously, back when Terminator came out. This movie has a little bit of Back to the Future in there, which I do love, that kind of whimsical nature of it. It's very satire, incredibly satire. It's not really supposed to be serious, and so don't go into there thinking it is trying to be serious. It's supposed to be a comedy, and I think I was the only guy in the theater cracking up at certain points. I don't think the movie's hilarious, by all means, just so you guys know. I don't think it's like really funny. But there are a few moments where I was laughing really, really hard. And the people in the theater just did not give a shit about this movie, it felt like. And I had to like look around and see if I was the only one in there at a certain point. And it just seemed like no one, they were all glued to the screen. They were paying attention, kind of like mindless zombies. But they just didn't seem to engaged with the film or really have any kind of general reaction to it. I don't know if that's just me, but I'm gonna be very incredibly brutally honest with you guys. I thought this movie was boring. Ouch. I know everyone is giving it such high scores. I think right now it's on Rotten Tomatoes at like a 85, 86%. It's scoring really high, and a lot of people at these festivals from last year have said that the movie was their favorite out of all the movies that they showed, and I believe that because probably a lot of movies there weren't good at all. This was probably the most interesting thing that came out of it, and I mean, there's a lot going on. There really is, and I just feel like it's too bloated for its own good. It lacks finding its own identity as a story. It's kind of like mooching off of a lot of things that you know and you've seen before and you can expect. And so I'm not hating on stealing. I'm not ideas, that's I think what artists do in general, and directors, is like we just all naturally steal and we call it paying homage, you know, or creative inspiration. And this movie takes a lot from things that, you know, it's just, I'm not big on these AI movies where, oh, I get it, AI is the bad guy. Hey, we hate AI. AI is going to kill us in the future. I get it. Let me be clear. I hate AI. I do. I hope I don't sound like a millennial, but I probably sound like a boomer at the same time because I just don't give a shit about AI. I do think it's a useful tool, obviously, in some areas. You know, you got ChatGPT, even like the Ray-Ban Metas are pretty awesome. I don't have a pair myself, but I plan on getting one someday. I'm not really big into like VR headsets or virtual, you know, gaming and stuff like that. So I don't really have a dog in this fight. I know I just hate the things that I've seen that are coming out inside of our industry. And I'll give you guys a couple examples. One, the obvious is a lot of studios are having their scripts written by AI. You know, that's where you get like the Netflix, Amazon Prime, algorithmic movies that are just background noises. We kind of talked about this a couple of days ago, and they're just complete nonsense. I also really hate the AI slop videos that have come out. The reason why I was so inspired and excited to make the Avengers Doomsday trailer that is on my channel, and I was so proud of it, is because a lot of people today are just creating these disgusting looking AI videos that are just so obviously fake. And there used to be a time where it was an art form to make these kind of like fan-made trailers where you essentially take footage from various movies and make it seem like it's all part of one movie. Now, some people would be so good at this that you would actually be convinced that that was the film, and a lot of people had to kind of like dispute it. And last but not least, AI actors. This has been a new wavelength of people who are just not real people. I don't even know why I said that. Fake computer programs are being created to be brought up and managed as actual actors. I couldn't even name the names for you guys. That's how little information I know about this. I just kind of see this and read about this as I go along on my day-to-day. But it's ridiculous. And I see some people online that say that we're cooked, that Hollywood is so cooked because of AI actors and what the softwares could do, you know, getting rid of CGI and visual effects. I don't believe for 1 second. Call me naive, call me whatever you want, but I just don't believe AI is the future at all. You know, I've worked with people who make AI videos and show it to me, and they're like, yeah dude, we're gonna use this and we're gonna post this, it's gonna go on Instagram, we're gonna pay for ads. And I'm like, if they're not asking me for my opinion, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna say, okay, nice, awesome, interesting. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die has an incredible cast. You got Zazie Beetz, Michael Pena was one of my favorite characters. Their side story as these teachers felt completely just out of nowhere for me, and I felt like there were so many side characters and they tried really hard to make their story connect with the main plot that was happening with Sam Rockwell's character, and it was just completely unnecessary. If you've seen Weapons, this film that came out a couple months ago by Zach Regger, where the witch is like taking, you know, all the children in the neighborhood, kind of a la Pied Piper, it kind of feels like it's doing something that film does, which is bounce back and forth in its narrative story so that you can kind of, let's go back 2 days ago and see how this character ended up in the diner and that's why they're here. And it just didn't work for me here. It just felt like a plot device that was kind of like not really necessary at all. And I'm surprised. I went into this movie not knowing very much, and at the end of the credits, the director's name came up, Gore Verbinski. And I thought to myself, that name sounds really familiar. Why do I know that name but not know that name? Instantly looked it up. Dude, this guy directed all 3 of the iconic Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I love those films. I've even thought about making a full video essay about why I think that trilogy is a masterpiece, and I just might end up doing that now. because this movie was a complete disappointment. I would have expected this from maybe the guys that directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, or A24, or something low budget. This movie just felt super independent and like a student project. If this was directed by some 24-year-old kid, prodigy, I would have completely understood and said, yeah, okay, that makes sense why everybody is glazing this movie. That's cool. Yeah, it's really fun. It's awesome. They got a great cast. They do some fun sci-fi action here and there, and it is very much taking from Black Mirror. I just felt like I was watching a Black Mirror movie. I like Black Mirror. I got no problem with that. But it seems to be a genre now where, like, let's do something where it's super weird and it's like a Twilight episode and we're not in reality and everyone just acts so strange to everyone. And those are cool when it's Black Mirror. I love the Black Mirror episodes individually on their own. They work by themselves. But when you're trying to do that concept over a 2-hour film, it feels like I'm watching 4 to 5 movies that are split and they're all like short films, and you just kind of like smashed them all together and was like, here, watch this now. It just felt like it was completely unnecessary, and I wish the story was more linear, is what it comes down to. And I like stories that are inconsistent and bouncing around and all over the place, but it just did not work for this movie at all. It just felt like it was stealing a lot of ideas from a lot of other things and not being its own individual film. And that's why I'm so confused on how Gore made this movie, because it just seems really outside of his wheelhouse and just out of nowhere. But okay, Sam Rockwell is incredible as always. He's the GOAT. I really think that this man needs to do more movies. But he delivers a great performance. He's awesome. I do want to talk about Haley Lou Richardson in this movie, because she was a standout for me. She was one of the characters that played a princess. I think her name was Ingrid, and she played this character that was essentially the first person ever to be allergic to Wi-Fi and technology. So she had to completely grow up and isolate herself from everyone around her. And she found a guy that she fell in love with who just didn't vibe with technology, and that wasn't part of his lifestyle. Awesome. But he accidentally starts to become manipulated and brainwashed by technology, and then he leaves her. She's all by herself. She was a standout character for me because I was really wondering, like, okay, what's this chick's deal? What is happening with her? And by the end of it, it's all revealed and how she's kind of connected to the story. I looked up this actress online on social media. She hasn't posted nothing about this movie. Okay, fine. Some actors don't really post all of their projects, but she seems very proud of all of the films and books that she's done. And so she's very social media active online. And I was just super confused why she just didn't market the film. That seemed like a little bit of a red flag to me. Like, okay, why do you seem like you're not attached to the project? It seemed like she was kind of distancing herself. I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's more to that story, but I thought that was a little bit sus, a little bit of drama there for you guys. At the end of it, I was just disappointed by this film overall. I'm going to rate Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die 4 out of 10. Honestly, I'll probably never watch it ever again unless I'm really interested in seeing another Sam Rockwell performance. He's a huge standout in this movie as well, obviously being the main character. I loved everything that he was doing, his costume, his outfit, how insane he was and maniac he was. He was a really good reason to go and check out this movie for any reason at all if you need one. But other than that, man, it just didn't do anything for me. I was bored the entire time. And I feel like this movie is trying to be, you know, kind of preachy a little bit. Maybe that's why it turned me off a little bit. Because at the end of it, you know, all right, you hate AI, you're anti-AI. And I am too, I get it, man. But you need to tell a story in a subtle way for your audience to get to that realization. It's almost like incepting the idea into them instead of shoving it into their face. I wish the reveal and the information was done a little bit more clever. In my fantasy with this movie, I wish that Sam Rockwell's character, the homeless guy, I really wish you were questioning the entire time if he was telling the truth or not. You kind of believe him right away because he knows everything. He's been here before. He's done this before, I think 117 times. And they do some flashbacks in the future, which is kind of cool. It gives a little bit of backstory to him. But as an audience member, wouldn't it have been interesting if I was questioning throughout the entire film, is this real or not? And by the time I get to the end, I will then have my answer. That would have been awesome. That would have been hilarious. Whether it's real or not doesn't matter. Whether he was just some crazy homeless dude that had visions and believed in this, that would have been one story. Not saying it needed to go that way, but if it's, okay, this is all real, this is all actually happening, that would have been an even more interesting reveal if you just held on to it by the very end. Because the very end of this film gets visually epic and weird. It looks like AI kind of rendered some of the stuff. I really enjoyed these hallway shots and some of the symmetry, but then they would go to these like green screen, blue screen rooms, and it just all looked fake and took me out. And again, we're talking about Gore Verbinski, the guy who really cemented visual effects, in my opinion, with the Pirates movie. What they did with Davy Jones and the tentacles in that film were just out of this world. Obviously, with all of the ghost pirates and the ships and everything that movie had going on for it, looked visually stunning. That's really why I love those movies so much, is because they blend in together a beautiful amount of actual real location shots, because they're there shooting that stuff. Now they don't shoot movies like that. Now it's all blue screen, put a pool of water right here, and then boom, we're in the Caribbean. And so I don't really love when movies look like that, and this movie really started to become this just insane, just do whatever. And I get it, I get the satire, the jokes, that it's, you know, kind of putting a joke on writing a bad prompt and then getting a terrible response from that. And so it gets to this point where there's this giant CGI cat horse hybrid, and its neck looks like a giraffe, and then it's shooting now confetti from its neck. I just was like, oh my god, man, what are we doing here? What am I doing here? Oh my god. I can't honestly recommend this movie for you. I think this is an easy skip. You can watch it when it's on digital or any streaming service once it comes out then. But I don't believe that you guys have to go and run to the theaters to check this out. I don't know. You let me know. Have you checked out Good Luck? Have fun. Don't die. Are you planning on seeing it this weekend? Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this movie. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, I've been your host, Isaac Joel. I'll see you next time.